It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you with us today. As you can tell, we're not in studio. We are actually at the County Annex building in Prescott with County Elections Director Lincoln Stobley. Hello, Lynn.
Hello.
And Leslie Hoffman will be joining us in the second portion of the show, County Recorder. We thought we'd come today and actually look at the different machines that we'll be encountering during elections this year.
Right, at the vote centers.
At the vote centers.
Yes.
And I need to remember that because I call them polling places, but I think vote center kind of describes them better.
Yes. Yes.
What is the difference between, say, you said polling place and a vote center are the same thing, but we went to vote centers, and it does mean a little something different.
Right, so polling places, traditionally, you're assigned to one polling place, and that's where you have to go. But a vote center, throughout Yavapai County, we have 29 vote centers, and you can go to any of those vote centers and vote. So you're not assigned. You're assigned to Yavapai County, but not to any one place to go.
And we've talked about that numerous times. You used to get the card. On the back of your voter registration card, it would tell you, okay, this is the precinct you go to, this is the building you go to. But now, if I'm in Coutny and work in Sedona, we usually use this as an example. I can go to Sedona. If there's a vote center in Sedona,
There is.
I could just cast my ballot there.
Right.
Right, and that is a beautiful thing.
And this is the machine that makes that possible.
Oh, okay. What is this machine? Let's talk about it.
This is an electronic poll book.
Okay.
So the whole county's voter registration rolls are on this machine. So the poll worker that you go in and see will ask to see your ID, and we have a list of IDs we can go over. And mostly, they just want to see your license, because what they can do is they can take your license and they can scan it in.
Okay.
And within 5 seconds, it should show your name. Now, the voter won't see this side of the screen. This is the poll worker that is seeing this side of the screen.
They're
and seeing
just
the
checking
information.
your ID.
Right. They're pretty much checking your ID.
Okay.
So they'll say, yep, that's you. That's a really old picture of you, but that's you. And, oh, your address is different. So they can check that out as well.
What does that mean? If that comes up, what does that mean? Anything?
That means that I changed my address. I just moved. I changed my address with the motor vehicle, but I didn't change it with voter registration.
Oh.
Yeah, so that means that I might get a different ballot if I moved out of, and I did actually, I moved from Board of Supervisors District 5 to Board of Supervisors District 4. So that will be on my ballot now at my new address, and that's the ballot I'm going to want.
Preferably, though, we should probably
Change the address. Yes.
Change the address so we don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
Does that kind of slow things down for us?
It does. It actually does slow things down, because now I'll have to vote a provisional ballot, and that provisional ballot, it'll count. The ballot will count.
Okay.
But what that does is that tells voter registration, this is Lynn's new address. And then we can update the rolls that way. Okay,
now will you do that on your own with the changing of address?
I've already done that. This is old data.
Right. But if say mine is out of sync, and I come in and do this, and I get this provisional ballot, will you guys automatically go and change the address, or do you want me to fill something else out?
No, we automatically do that. We actually, there's a law that says we can take the provisional ballot, and if you've updated your address, we can use that. Because the provisional ballot will have your new address, have your former address, and then it'll have your signature on it, saying this is my new information. So we can use that to update your address.
So you guys have got kind of a slow year going this year. Right?
Okay.
It's not going to be too busy for you.
That's the joke of the century. Yeah.
Right. So we've got a lot of elections going on this year.
Yeah, so we have 5.
Okay, first one is March 8th. We got a recall in Camp Verde.
Right.
Then we got the presidential preference.
In March 22nd.
March 22nd, and then they just continue on from there. So I imagine some people might be getting a little confused as to just what they're voting on at what point in time.
Right.
What's the best way for us to kind of keep that in order?
Well, if you go on our website, we have all the dates for the election, and then as we get the information for each election, we put the information up on the website. So then you can go and see March 8th is Camp Verde, and March 22nd is the presidential preference, and May is a statewide election with 2 questions. So we put everything on our website as we get the information. And
I go to the website all the time, because it's if you go to Yavapai County's homepage, yavapai.gov, right?
Yavapai.us.
Yavapai.us. If you go to that website, see, I've got my favorites, so I just click on that, and I never pay attention to the website itself. But at the bottom right-hand side of that web page is all election information.
Yeah, it's a little box.
Right.
Yeah, and that has the most current stuff. Like we have a 2016 candidate, potential candidates report right now up there. And then we have Find Your Vote Center. We have an interactive map link there. And then if you click on elections and voting, that brings you to our homepage for elections and voting. And it has all of our other information. It has results from past elections. It has campaign finance reports, everything you ever wanted to know. And we're
That's where I go when I'm looking for, because I'll think, okay, I know there's an election coming up. So I'll go there and I'll click on important dates, all the dates, and then I'll list those off so people know that this is what's coming up. Like just recently, we ended registration for the presidential preference election.
Yes.
So maybe we should hit that real quick before we move on to the next machine.
Okay.
Presidential preference, we talked about it a lot, but not everybody hears everything. If you're a Republican, a Democrat, or Green Party,
you can vote.
You can vote in the presidential preference election. As an independent voter, if you do not re-register with ServiceArizona.com,
and too late now.
It's too late now. So you can participate. We don't even want to say that though, because really, if you show up, I can cast a ballot.
Yes, we don't turn anyone away. We never turn anyone away.
You can't.
Yes. So we would give you a ballot. It would be a provisional, but if you are truly an independent, it would not count. And we don't say that a lot because actually a lot of people that cast provisional ballots, 80 to 90% of them usually count because they're usually early voters that didn't vote their ballot, or like me, I changed my address and didn't notify voter registration, so those count. But if you're an independent and you show up at the PPE and you vote that ballot and put it in the envelope, it's not going to count anyways, and you're going to waste a lot of your time.
Okay, so too late this time around.
Yeah.
Too late this time around. So if you're a Republican, Democrat, or Green Party, you will be participating. And that ballot, I can get one mailed to me.
Yes.
Okay. And then there will be vote centers.
Yes.
This is not going to be an all vote by mail election. Okay.
Right.
That's something else I wanted to hit on at the beginning of the program too, is that you go for a few years and it seems all vote by mail, vote by mail. You just kind of expect to get your ballot in the mailbox.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case this year.
That's right.
Okay.
So the Camp Verde recall is a vote by mail. So everyone in the town of Camp Verde should have already gotten their ballot in the mail. So if you didn't, let us know. And then the PPE, the May election, and then the fall elections, the primary and general, they're all what we call on-the-ground elections. So if you're on the permanent early voting list and you're eligible for those elections, you'll get a ballot in the mail. But if you're not, and you want one, you have to call us and let us know, or you have to go to a vote center and vote there.
And we have a lot of people who love to have the ballots mailed to them.
Yes, we have 80%, I believe, that love to have it just mailed to them all the time. 70% are on the permanent early voting list, and then another 10% or so call every election and say, hey, I'm going to be out of town, can you mail it to me? And we can mail it anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then we just have to get it back to you.
Yes.
On time.
Yes, by
Postmarks
7
don't
p.m.
count.
No postmarks.
Postmarks don't count.
I have to have it by 7 p.m. on election day.
On election day, okay. All right, I think I've asked all the questions I was going to ask in regards to the upcoming elections. So the best thing to do is to go to the website, I think, go down the right-hand side where your guys' election information is, and people are going to find out. I know I was going to ask you, voter fatigue.
Oh, okay.
I've been hearing a lot about that lately, where some of the ballots may be really, really huge. Can we hit on that real quick?
Sure, especially in the general election where we have all the propositions. This ballot for the PPE, we have one race. So you shouldn't get fatigued on that. But sometimes we have a longer ballot. It's about 19 inches long. We have stuff all on the front, all on the back, and it's a lot of language to read, and people do get tired and stop voting after they see, oh, okay, I voted for the mayor of my town, I'm done. And then they just hand it in. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. You don't have to vote on every race on every ballot. But yeah, we do have voter fatigue where they don't even, sometimes people don't even turn the ballot over.
They don't see
this one has
side.
nothing. But some of them do have the whole backside full of questions.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the second machine and third machine as quick as we can, because we're running out of time already.
This is just loaded with a demo.
Okay.
So I'll bring this up for you.
And what is this?
This is a touchscreen machine. So this machine, you can vote on it independently if you're a blind voter. It has headphones that it will read the ballot to you. It reads all the instructions to you. It will read the ballot to you.
Oh, awesome.
And it has a keypad that you can vote, and it has raised triangles and squares so that it'll tell you hit the square in the middle or hit the right triangle or whatever it says. And you can vote on it independently without someone helping you reading the ballot to you. This will read the ballot to you.
Okay.
So this one is a demo where it shows many races. You can also vote not with this, just with your hand touching the screen. You can make the screen bigger. So if you can't see it, you can make it really big.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, or smaller. And then you just touch to vote who you want to.
And the black box gets filled in next to the name.
And if you make a mistake, I chose Wyatt Earp, I want Doc Holliday, I unchoose and then choose again.
Okay, simple.
And then once you get all the way through, it prints a little ballot. Comes out here. So we'll do one. Come on.
And then that ballot, then what do you do with the ballot that you get?
Okay. So these ballots, this machine doesn't count these ballots, it just prints it for you.
Okay.
And these go in my box there, right back here.
Okay,
and they get put in, and then these get counted back here at Fair Street
at the ballot
end of the
box.
night.
Okay. And this one here, is this the same as that one?
It's almost the same. It's just that I have the presidential preference election loaded on this one. So you can see that ballot. And I hooked up a speaker so you could hear the voice, what it's reading. And it has English or Spanish that can be selected.
March 22nd,
I don't know if you can read. Here.
County of Yavapai, State of Arizona. Congressional District 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it talks to you.
Democratic Party candidates for President of the United
So it
States.
just reads the whole thing.
Vote for not more than one.
I'll be darned. Okay, very cool.
De La Fuente, Roque, Rocky,
Okay, all right.
Democratic Party.
Nice.
Yeah. So it reads it to you, and then it tells you how to vote it. If you want to vote, you hit the square, it fills it in for you, and then it tells you how to move on using the keypad. And you go all the way on, and it will print your ballot for you.
And again, it prints the ballot and you stick it in the ballot box. All right, anything else we need to make sure we talk to before we switch over to Leslie for second half?
If you're going to vote at the vote center, make sure you bring your ID. So
IDs.
Leslie can go over that
Okay,
with you.
we're going to talk about IDs
Yeah.
with Leslie because that is going to be important this year, isn't
Yeah,
it?
make sure you bring them.
All right, well, great
Measure
seeing
that.
you. Thanks
Yeah.
for being on today and
Thanks.
showing us your stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. All righty. We'll take a quick break. Countywide back in just a couple minutes, so do stick around.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Paul David, Yavapai County Recorder Leslie Hoffman joins us for the second half of the show. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Good to have you.
Welcome to our office.
Yeah, it's it's pretty good. It's pretty amazing. Pretty good stuff.
We like it.
Lots of elections this year, and I think one of the most important things we've talked about year after year after year, and we keep reminding people because it's very important, when you show up to the polls, you got to have the correct ID.
Correct.
If I don't have any ID with me, what happens?
You'll be given what's called a conditional provisional ballot.
Okay.
So you'll have to vote that, and then you have up to 5 days after the election to come into our office here on Fair Street or go to Cottonwood and bring your ID in and show ID for that ballot to be counted.
Okay, and it doesn't get touched until that happens.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so what are some good ID forms that I should have with me? I mean, you really should have ID with you all the time, but
Correct.
what do I need when I come to vote?
There's a very large list of ID.
Okay.
The most common is an Arizona driver's license. It's the photo ID with your address, or a non-operator Arizona ID. But if you don't have a photo ID, one from this list, you can bring 2 forms of ID with your name and address that matches with our voter registration rolls, or a combination of different IDs. So there's a lot of different choices for those who don't have the typical Arizona driver's license or the Arizona non-operator ID, there are still other ways that you can come in and vote and bring different forms of ID.
Now, how do I find out which ones I can do? Now, you've got this list in front of you right
Yes.
now. So where
Yes.
can I go find all that information?
You can go to yavapai.us, go to our main website, over bottom right, over to the right side. You can click on the information. It says elections and voter registration information, and this list is here. And you can always call our office.
Okay.
We have
All
a
right.
great staff who's always willing to take calls and walk you through getting through the website, or we'll just tell you verbally.
All right, that's pretty simple.
Yes,
That's pretty simple.
we try to keep it that way because elections aren't so simple, so we want to make it easy.
Right, when we took the break, Lynn brought up something kind of interesting, and I forgot about that. But you guys, people watching security-wise for voting,
Yes.
people worry about whether or not their ballot's being counted, whether it's being tampered with, or anything else. And you actually have cameras in the room we're standing in
Yes.
that videotape everybody.
Correct.
Talk about those a little bit.
We have live streaming, and that's required for all county, state, or federal elections. So those are live streamed. You said you've looked at them on election day.
I have.
The Secretary of State, they always have everybody's live stream up. We also have cameras in this room, and we actually have a camera at every entrance and exit point where ballots are going to be. When they bring them into our room where we batch them, we've got cameras there going in and out of all the doors. And then when we are moving ballots around, they're all in locked bins. They're batched and put into locked containers.
They come all from all over the county, right?
Yes, they do.
How do they get transported around?
We send teams out to our locations if we're doing jurisdictional elections. Some of our jurisdictions will collect ballots, but we have ballot boxes, our drive-up accessible ballot boxes. We send out teams, bipartisan teams from the elections department. They pick those up. They're in locked bags, brought back into this office.
Okay. All right, that seems pretty secure.
It's very secure. It's very secure.
You know, every time I see you, I want to ask you, and I want to ask Lynn the same question all the time too, is online voting. It's
Yes.
been talked about for a long time, and I'm going to ask you guys this every time I see you because I'm really curious about this, and I'm kind of curious to see how long it'll take before that becomes a reality.
You know, we get asked that a lot.
Is it talked about a
All
lot?
the time.
Okay.
All the time. All different organizations talk about it, different special interest groups talk about it. And I think until somebody can come up with a system that can't be tampered with or hacked, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
I just look at that and I think to myself, okay, that eliminates the mailing
Yes.
aspect of it. That saves money. Polling places would be bygones, and what do we call them now? We don't call them polling.
Vote centers.
Vote centers. That's it. Vote centers. Vote centers are gone, and then you're actually able to just kind of pull your ballot up on your screen. I guess you could kind of do that now, can't you? Can you pull up a ballot on your computer screen to look at it and study it in order to
No.
have it with you to take? No.
No, we don't have that, no.
Okay. But we do get something in the mail, do we not, that kind of shows?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
what
We
the
do
ballot's going to
We
have.
do get sample ballots that go out to our non-people or permanent early voter
Mm-hmm.
voters. It goes out to them.
And that gives us an opportunity to sit down and kind of go through it and make informed decisions.
Right.
And then we can take that and fill it out there, and then we can bring it with us so that we're not at the vote center as long.
Correct.
Okay.
But that ballot, that sample ballot cannot be tabulated. We have had people drop those off thinking that those could be tabulated.
Oh, okay.
Those cannot. Those are just the sample for review.
Okay, alrighty.
Yeah, we think
Okay.
our vote by mail has gotten so popular because they do like being able to sit at the table,
Well, right.
look
I
at
mean,
that ballot, think about it, read through it. Some of them get very large.
that makes
Some
sense.
ballots. Absolutely.
So how busy are you this year, election year, for a county recorder?
Very busy.
Yeah?
Very busy.
What are you
As
busy with?
We have the vote by mail. So we're sending all those out, and then our permanent or our early voting also begins 27 days prior to every election. So anybody who wants to come in and vote in person, maybe won't be here on election day, they can come into our office here on Fair or in Cottonwood on 6th Street and vote in person 27 days prior to the election. So we've staffed up for that, and we have people at both places who will do the early voting, and then once those ballots go out, it isn't but a couple of days, they start coming back in.
Where did we go when we come here and we decide to do that, vote early in person? Do we go in a room, a booth? Where's that
Kiosk
done?
right downstairs in the lobby. If you're in Cottonwood, you would go in the door, take your first left, and our recorder's office is there, and they have a little room. And if you're in Prescott, then you just walk straight into the lobby, and we have a kiosk that is manned by at least 2 people, and you can come there, and they will issue you the ballot that you are qualified to vote on.
Alrighty, well there you go. Thank you, Leslie.
You are very welcome.
All right, we're at the Yavapai County Recorder's Office, Yavapai County Elections Office at the County Annex Building in Prescott. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Hey Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming! We're going biking! Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Welcome back to Countywide. Lynn Constable back with us, Yavapai County Elections Director. We're going to go over this is the tabulation?
This is the tabulation. This is called central count.
Central count.
Yes, so all the early ballots that get mailed out and come back, and all the vote center ballots that we just talked about get counted here on election night. Well, the vote center get counted here on election night. The early ballots, actually, we can count early.
How early can you count those?
We can start 7 days before the election and start counting the ballots. We have to pass what's called an L&A test, logic and accuracy, and that's what we have right here. Is I have a test deck, and what it does is we pre-mark the ballots and we add them up by hand, and then we put them through the machines, and then we do a report and we see if my hand count matches the machine count.
Okay.
So we want to make sure everything is working before we get real ballots in here.
If it doesn't,
then we find the problem. Usually it's my hand count.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I would imagine, right?
Usually it's my hand count that I counted wrong, and then we find the problem, and then maybe we have to run it again, or if there is a problem with the programming, then we fix it before everything goes out.
can you make it run?
I can make it run.
Okay.
You just do
And while
this.
it's running, you were saying that this is that's why the camera is pointed at this direction,
Yes.
online, streaming.
The streaming.
And then you said this little window right here?
Yeah,
People
this
can
is-
come up and watch.
Yeah, viewing window. So basically on the other side of this room is our county break room. So if they wanted to come and watch us count, they could come and see the machines run. And I'm hoping it stops for you. We put overvotes in here. So if somebody makes a mistake on their ballot and they vote for 2 instead of 1, it will stop and it will tell me there's an overvote in the deck. I can pull it out and I can look at it. And if it's a true overvote, like if you just filled in 2 circles, I can't do anything about it. But maybe you filled in 1 and you said, oh, I made a mistake, and you crossed it out and you filled in another, then I can pull that ballot out of this batch and we can send it to a duplication board. And they'll make an exact copy without the mistake, and then I can put that ballot through so your vote will count.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got a little bit of leeway when it comes to us making mistakes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we don't get that very many, so we don't test it very much. It's not going to stop for me. Oh, there we
There
go.
it is.
It
There's
stopped. And it says no selection. Okay, so a lot of people will send in their ballot and they will mark it with red pen or with orange or with really light colors, and it won't read that. It reads blue and it reads black, and it sometimes reads pencil, so don't use pencil. Blue and black ink are the best, but it won't read red. So sometimes they'll mark it with red and it'll tell me there's no selection on here. So we actually have to pull the ballot out, see if it actually is a no selection. And what it tells me is that there were 73 red and the 70th ballot is a no selection. So 73, 72, 71, 70 is a no selection.
Oh, we darn. Look at there.
Yeah. But if it was red, then I could pull this out and duplicate it and put it back through.
All right.
But I don't suggest it. Don't use red.
Okay, blue or black. All right, that wraps up today's Countywide. We got to go.
Okay.
Lynn Constable, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank
Leslie
you.
Hoffman as well. That's today's show. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next time.